Congratulations on your purchase of the Supervision security product. This video is intended to familiarize you with all the components of the system and guide you through the simple steps needed for successful installation. We will provide useful installation tips along the way. Each system includes a main control cabinet with 2 remotes, a battery, an externally mounted solar panel, multiple door switches, an externally mounted siren, a complete hardware kit, and installation and operation guides. To begin the installation process, locate and review the installation guide. The installation guide includes a tools required for installation, installation steps, and hardware identification sections. Next, remove the cover plate from the control box and study the wiring diagram provided. Prior to the start of actual assembly, we highly recommend that a continuity tester be used to identify the trailer manufacturer's color scheme for the trailer's clearance and ground wires. Once familiar with the wiring diagram, components, and initial steps, you must decide upon the location for the control box. It is recommended that you place the control box near the top of the interior wall between the front and the side door. This location enables the System Status LED to be in a position where it can be easily monitored from the hitch end of the trailer. After the location of the box is determined, drill the wiring access hole with a hole saw, but do not mount the control box until the wiring is fed through later. Once the access hole is drilled, it's time to mount the solar panel. Remove the panel from the packed box and locate the necessary items from the blister pack provided. The first step in preparing to mount the solar panel is attaching the 4 feet. It is important that you do not remove both screws at the same time, but remove one, then attach one side of the foot, followed by the removal of the second screw, then attaching the second side. Repeat for all 4 feet. After you finish attaching the feet, cut the 2 clamps from the wire provided in the solar panel package. Now the panel is ready to mount. Pick a location on the roof of the trailer right above the location of the control panel. Try to position the panel so at least 2 of the 4 mounting screws will go through a crossbar member. Once the location is decided upon, drill a 3/8-inch hole for the cord. Slide the grommet up the cord into position. Then slide the cord through the hole and seat the grommet. Apply silicone to feet and cord hole locations. Use the self-tapping screws provided to secure the panel. In step 3, we will be mounting the external siren. The best location for mounting the siren is toward the front of the trailer, directly behind a crossmember to protect it from the elements. Once the siren is attached, drill an access hole for the siren wiring to go through the floor. Silicone the wires at the hole after feeding them through. In step 4, we will be mounting the door switches. The door switches will need to be mounted in series at each door location. The sensor is always mounted on the frame and the magnet to the door itself. The sensor should always be placed as far away from the hinge as possible. For double doors in the rear, always place the switch on the door that contains the adjacent door. Use the number 10 5/8-inch sheet metal screw to attach the door switch to the door frame. The magnet bracket only needs to be used when there is considerable recess between the door surface and frame, or if the door frame is steel, to keep the steel from affecting the magnetic field. Mount the door switch first to the frame and then mount the magnet parallel to it. The offset should be 1 to 1.5 inches. Use a continuity tester to verify that each door switch is activating correctly when the door is opened. Refer to the wiring schematic on the back of the control box panel. All system components will need to be interfaced, and the wiring ran along the top of the walls and back to the control box access hole. It is recommended that at least a foot of wire is left hanging through the hole to feed through the control box after all of the wire is run. The 2 conductor wire and the butt splices provided are now used to interface door switches and the external siren. Please note that for the external siren to work, the red wire of the siren must be interfaced with the Siren 2 positive output on the terminal strip. Once each component is attached, run the wire along the top of the trailer and back to the access hole. If the trailer has a second door, you will need to tap into the 2-conductor cable to hook up. Carefully slice the external wire casement and cut one of the wires. Interface the door switch to the cut wire ends with butt splices. Then, using the butt splices provided, attach the wiring. If your trailer has electric brakes, now is the time to interface them. Your security system includes a built-in relay that will simulate a breakaway scenario when the security system is violated. The TrailerGuard system does not power your brakes when a violation occurs. However, only simulates a breakaway scenario. Therefore, your brakes will only be activated if your breakaway battery is charged. It is necessary to terminate 2 wires of equal gauge on your breakaway switch. This wire is not included, as no standard exists for breakaway systems. Be sure to match wire gauges. The interface wires need to be terminated on both sides of the breakaway switch. The first location is between the battery and the breakaway switch, and the second location is between the breakaway switch and the trailer brakes. Use the provided wire taps from the hookup kit to terminate and run wires back to the wire access hole for enclosure hookup. After completing the wiring for the door switches and external siren and brakes if present, the trailer light interface, brown wire, will need to be tapped into a trailer clearance light wire. Once located, use the wire tap provided and attach the provided brown wire into the clearance light wire. Once completed, hide the wire along the top of the trailer and feed back through the access hole. At this point, you will need to attach the provided terminal ring to the 18-gauge green grounding wire also provided. After completing, attach the ground wire to the frame of the trailer and feed the wire through the access hole. It is time to remove the LED wire from the controller. It is easiest to use a flathead screwdriver and gently lift the connector from the connection. Once removed, a 3/8" hole can be drilled in the wall through the access hole directly behind the control box, or it can be done at a different location for better visibility if desired. The connector of the status cable will have to be fed through first from the outside. Make sure that all the wiring is fed back through the access hole. Use electrical tape to secure the wiring harness end. Feed the wiring through the hole on the back of the control box and mount the box. Wiring will need to be cut to length and stripped at 1/4 inch to mount to the terminal block. A second terminal ring will have to be added to the ground wire and secured to the back panel with the 6/32 thread cutting hex driver. Remove the remotes from the antenna without cutting and feed the antenna through access hole into trailer wall. The system status LED will need to be reinserted back into the controller. The hooks on the connector face you. After all the wiring is terminated, the battery leads need to be attached, red to red. Once the battery has been attached, the battery status LED on the side of the control box will illuminate. At this point, all of the wiring that has been run can be secured with cable clamps and the installation is complete. Refer to your operating instructions for user questions.